Good day, mates. I'm excited to be presenting at Digital Academy Summit 2022. This is my knowledge burst titled Digital Transformation Starts Small. My name is Kunal Johar. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at OpenWater, and I'm really excited about today's presentation because we all know the word digital transformation. And I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to have you all think, what is digital transformation? I know for me, I've been reading emails over many months. I remember I was at a trade show when it first came up, and a bunch of IT professionals were asked, what does digital transformation mean to you? And this phrase used to really frustrate me because I was like, everyone is coming at me with a different definition with regards to what digital transformation is and how everyone can help. So, in preparation for today's knowledge burst, I thought, you know what? Why don't I actually go and start from the beginning? Let me look up what digital transformation is. So, I went to Wikipedia, and here is the definition of digital transformation from Wikipedia. Digital transformation is the adoption of digital technology by a company. Common goals for its implementation are to improve efficiency, value, or innovation. And I paused when I saw this definition because the first thought I had was, isn't this what we all have been doing for the last 20 years? Haven't we all been taking technology for the goals of improving efficiency, providing value, or for the sake of innovation? And when I read this, I wondered, why on earth did we have to come up with a new name for the work we do every day? And as I continued going down the rabbit hole of what digital transformation is, I saw there were some courses available from various online universities or continuing education academies. And I uncovered this consulting company, PTC, and the website's listed down here below. And they were offering a consultancy project where they can help your organization go through a digital transformation strategy. And they had this complicated graphic. And when I looked at the graphic, I saw just a lot on here. So it started off with everyone needs to get together and align on why we're doing this. Then we need to prepare the culture for change. We have to start small. And as I looked at this chart, and in the United States, money is green. So I'm looking here and I'm like, man, this looks like they are just walking customers through a funnel. And as they go through the process, a lot of money is spent on a lot of consultants. And here you see the green here, and who is really winning as you go through one of these transformation strategies. It really just started kind of to irk me. And as I continued to go down the path, I really started to wonder how many people are needed to make a change. So I'm going to pause there just for all of us to think about that for a second. If we are trying to go back to the goals of improving efficiency, value, or innovation, how many people are really needed to make such a change? And as I was going down the path, I think we can all say that really changes can be formed starting from one person, and one person can make a massive difference. So if one person can make a massive difference, I wondered, why did we have so much knowledge sharing from these consultants, so many processes, so many steps, so many procedures? And as I was going through the process, I remembered back when I was just doing my own studies for business, and I uncovered a article from Jeff Bezos, and it was his 1999 shareholder letter where he talked about various kinds of decision making. And in his letter, he described type 1 decisions and type 2 decisions. Type 1 decisions are the kind of decisions that after you make them, it's excruciatingly painful to go backwards. In most people's cases, those are one-way decisions. Type 2 decisions are the kind of decisions that you can quickly make, and if you make a mistake, no big deal. You could go back and make another decision, and there's virtually no impact. So as I thought about this framework of type 1 and type 2 decisions, I thought that maybe the same concept can apply to digital transformation. So let's take a look at what happens with some sorts of type 1 transformations. As I said, these decisions are rarely reversible, and if you get a type 1 transformation wrong, it can cost you your career. More than your career, it could actually stagnate your organization for years. And as I thought about that, I was like, if a decision is so serious that making a mistake can ruin an organization, maybe it does make sense to have the consultants prepare the extensive documentation get the process of buy-in from all of the stakeholders, execute a plan, and take a handful of priorities at a time to make them a reality. If you're going to make a type 1 decision by yourself, you almost want to make sure you have the insurance policy, which is all of the consultants and all of your partners saying, yes, this is the right thing to do. And it makes sense to take a process around those type 1 decisions. So, what are some examples for people that are watching this knowledge burst that might be considered type 1 digital transformation? Perhaps you're thinking about upgrading your AMS, your CRM, your EMS, your association software. Maybe time for a replacement or a major upgrade. Typically, that's something that happens every 7 years, and typically after the 7-year mark, when it's done, there's another 3 years of fixing whatever decisions were made. Often, when it comes to making a decision like upgrading your AMS or EMS, you do take the help of consultants because a lot has changed since the last time you embarked on such a project. With the pandemic, a lot of us experienced shifts in remote work policy. And in the case of my organization, OpenWater, we said, hey, everyone is allowed to work from wherever they want to work throughout the United States. As the pandemic restrictions were relaxed, literally everyone was in different states now. It was impossible for us to say something like, we are now returning to a physical office. That's very much a type 1 transformation in terms of if we did want to have an in-person office that was staffed all the time, the only way that would happen is with new colleagues. Another example that is very near and dear to us is we were recently acquired by ASI, the makers of IMIS. And in the process, us as a startup, we were using Google and G Suite for all of our emails. We had to merge to what the parent organization uses, which is what a lot of you here use as Office 365. And that was an example of a type 1 transformation that didn't seem like an obvious type 1 transformation. Here, we're using email every day, calendar every day, and it's relatively low cost, maybe $10 per employee per month. So shifting wasn't really a large cost. But what we didn't realize in the process is that nearly the entire organization's daily pattern was changed. If you're used to using your cell phone that's connected to your calendar to manage your life, and suddenly all of that is moved to another calendar system, all of your appointments are disheveled for a week or two. And in terms of what that could cost an organization without planning, what would 1 or 2 weeks of loss of productivity and loss of morale cost your organization? Perhaps several months to recover from. So just to recap on type 1 transformations, and I want to be clear, the type 1, type 2, that's my language. This is not a standard for digital transformation. I just hope to help elaborate to those that were struggling to define what digital transformation is. It's using technology to make things more efficient, improve productivity, and innovate. And in some cases, large technology changes require a lot of planning. And I almost want to second or validate the consultants that are doing this. At the same time, I started this presentation saying that digital transformation starts small. And here I believe that there are a lot of things you can do in what I would call type 2 transformations. And some characteristics of type 2 transformations are they're quick to execute, they're easy to iterate on, they're easy to revert. So it's almost like me saying you can get started today, you could work on it over the next couple of days, and then if you don't like it, just go back to what you're doing before. So if you get a type 2 transformation wrong, literally no one will notice. If you get it right though, no one will notice either at first. These are the kinds of transformations that because you can do it so quickly and by yourself, they're really small components. But as you embark on a journey of fixing a lot of small things, you'll realize that your efforts will compound. And what I'm going to suggest you do is find areas that don't require approval or even a lot of approval. Maybe they require a very, very small budget. And the hope here is that if you, as one person, regardless of your title, regardless of your role, if you can make a lot of small things easier a few hours at a time, when it comes time for something like your performance review, or time to get a raise, or time to share on LinkedIn for your next job, you can share concrete, me as one person with no budget, made a giant change. I did digital transformation as a single person. So let's talk about some ideas that you can use at your organization for type 2 transformation. Think about ways that you can keep your coworkers better informed, your association's membership better informed, or think about things that take a lot of steps and see if you could help reduce the number of steps needed to do something. So can one person really make a difference? I'll share a quick story at OpenWater about a tool we used. We built out an internal wiki and we took our employee handbook and converted it into tiny web pages called cards. What happened in 2019 is a certain staff member was getting overloaded with a ton of annoying questions, such as Christmas this year is on a Friday. Do I get an extra day off? Or my headset broke and I would like a new headset. How do I get that paid for? And the person that was receiving those annoying questions was me, myself, and I was going crazy because I'm like, can someone just ask HR? Why is everyone coming to me? So I set out and I just took the employee handbook, which had all of these answers, and I wrote 50 simple cards that answered all of those questions. And it took about, 20, 30 minutes per card. I didn't do it all in one day. And after about 5 months of using it, people started realizing, hey, there is a place that has answers to all of my questions. Why don't I go there before I go bother Kunal? And today I haven't answered a question in a long time, but more miraculously to me, I went ahead and looked at the tool, and the 50 cards I wrote were just the beginning because it was written in a wiki style manner. Over another 300 cards were written. Today we have 349 cards. I wrote the first 50. Other people at the organization wrote the next 300. And looking at the analytics, 4,000 questions have been answered over these 349 cards. Let's say that's only 10 minutes per question. That's 40,000 minutes that were saved from HR. So this was a massive difference that was made, and it started just with one person. Let's take a quick look at what that tool is. Ours is powered by WordPress, which is a free open source content management system. But for those in the audience that are using IMIS Rise, that's just another place. As long as you have a website that has permissions on it, you can make use of it. Ours single signs on with Office 365. Anyone can write an article. Some people can be editors. Let's take a quick look. Here's the tool. You see it's just a straight up WordPress login page. You can see I could do a single sign-on. I'm in here, and let me just search for holidays, and you can see here I have a list of my recognized paid holidays and related articles. It's very easy. You can see up here I can edit the post, and I can also click new to author my own post. So real quick, real easy, and it enables a lot of people to get an answer very, very fast. So I like to say your efforts will compound. Another way of saying that is if you solve a problem once, you will save forever. The first 50 cards probably took me under 50 hours over a 5-month period, which is virtually nothing to get done. If no one used the cards, it would have not even been a big deal. No one would have noticed. But with the seeds planted, people seeing critical mass in one area, they added their own articles. And I really feel for those in the organization, you could really help out your HR. There's probably one person at your organization that's answering a million questions that they shouldn't be answering, that someone else should be answering. And a corporate wiki is a great first project that's free to do, given that everyone here probably has a website that has some sort of permissions that can be used to lock this down to staff only. And I assure you, it will save your organization a lot of time. In my last minute, I want to talk about OpenWater. OpenWater is a Type 2 digital transformation tool that can be used to take online applications such as awards nominations, scholarships, fellowships that have intake of information and also a review period, and you can turn them online very, very quickly. So let's take a quick look at a real-world example. Here is an association website that exists today on the internet, and you can see here to submit a nomination for an award, let's say technician for an award, what they ask people to do is download a PDF and then email it by a certain deadline. So as I take a look at this PDF, I see I'm asked for information, including references, and I need to collect that information. I'll quickly show you how OpenWater can be used to convert one of the forms like this into an online process. So here we are in the OpenWater learning system. You can see here it literally is as easy as going to add program. I can start from scratch, or I can take a sample program. So here I'll take a sample awards program. I'll go ahead and hit the install button. Great, you see it installed. Now what I can do is I can click on Manage, check out the submission form. Here you'll see we provided a sampling of information, but if I look at the PDF, which I'm copying, you can see here it's very easy. I can take the questions that are asked, I can use a drag and drop form builder, I can give the question a name, I can edit out questions on the form, save, I can come back and so forth. Very, very straightforward form builder that can have multiple pages. Similarly, I have an evaluation layout and an evaluation form, so I can configure the scoring criteria for whatever it is that I'm looking for. So it takes about an hour or so, but the tool is very easy to convert forms that look like this with review criteria into online forms, going back to what digital transformation is. So I encourage you after this training to, one, create a corporate wiki for your own organization, and then two, follow my mantra of learn, solve, then do for others. OpenWater itself does have a cost. However, it is completely free to learn. You're free to get good at it, and you're free to solve problems for your organization. You can follow along and start converting applications into online forms along with a review process at learn.openwater.com. You're welcome to test out the entire platform, and then whenever you're ready, you can go live with the work you had done in training. Thanks so much, and feel free to send your questions to the Digital Academy Summit, and I will reply to all of them en masse about one day after they're all consolidated. Thank you, and good luck at the conference. Take care.